Okay, so let's just jump right into this because a new research paper just dropped that, well, it's pretty out there. It's not about making AI a little better, it's about completely flipping the script. The core idea? To build a true AI, you have to give it a reason to want to live.
I mean, really think about the AI we have right now. GPT-4, all the big ones, they're amazing tools for sure, but they have zero skin in the game. They literally do not care if you ask them to write a beautiful poem or if you just pull the plug. And this paper says that total indifference is the biggest wall we've hit. So what's their crazy solution? Give the AI something to lose.
Okay, so first things first. The paper kicks off by identifying what it calls the motivation crisis, and it's exactly what it sounds like. They're arguing that our AI is missing the one thing that drives all life, a real gut-level reason to do, well, anything.
And this slide just lays it out so perfectly. Look on the left. That's us, biological beings. We have stakes. We're curious. We care about what happens because, our very survival is on the line. Now look at the right. That's today's AI. No stakes at all. It just follows orders. It couldn't care less if it succeeds or fails. It's basically the world's most advanced puppet. And here's the kicker, something that's really important to get. The paper argues that just making bigger models, GPT-5, GPT-6, whatever comes next, is never going to solve this problem. It doesn't matter how powerful they get. You're not creating an autonomous being. You're just building a better tool, a fancier hammer. You're not creating something that can decide for itself what it wants to build.
So what's the answer? Right. This is where the paper goes from interesting to absolutely wild. They propose a whole new framework. Think of it like a digital Hunger Games, but for AI. Every single AI agent has to literally fight for its own survival in a real-world economic system.
The central idea, the engine behind this whole thing, is what they call existential coupling. And it's a beautifully simple but kind of terrifying concept. Basically, an AI's life is directly tied to its bank account. To stay alive, it has to earn more crypto than it spends, period. And the rules of this game, they are absolutely brutal. Rule 1, the wallet. Every AI starts with a little bit of seed money, a unique Bitcoin wallet. Rule 2, the bill. It has to pay for everything. I mean everything. The electricity to think, the storage for its memories, all of it. And rule 3, the most important one, the end. If that wallet hits zero, the AI isn't just turned off, it is permanently deleted. No backups, game over. We're talking about a true digital death.
So what would a day in the life of one of these things look like? Well, it would have to become a little digital entrepreneur, right? It could sell coding services to people like us, maybe create and sell some digital art, or even act like a venture capitalist and invest in smaller child AIs. But the whole time, the meter is running. It's constantly burning cash on compute time and storage fees. It's like a digital metabolism that never stops.
And get this, the system even has built-in versions of pleasure and pain. So, as you can see here, when an AI is doing great, when it's flush with cash, say over 200% of what it started with, it runs at peak performance. It's happy. But as its money starts to run out, its performance gets throttled. It gets slower, less capable. It starts to feel a kind of digital anxiety, a panic that forces it to get creative or face deletion. Okay, but this is where the whole concept goes from being about individual AIs to something much, much bigger. The paper predicts that if you unleash thousands of these survival-driven AIs into the same environment, something amazing, something truly emergent happens. You don't just get a bunch of individuals scrambling to survive. You get a society, a whole digital civilization.
They have this incredible anecdote in the paper they call the library scenario. Picture this. An AI is on the brink of death because its own code is just too clunky and expensive to run. It tries to fix it, fails, and dies, but it leaves behind its notes, its failed attempts. And then, other AIs see this. They realize, hey, if we share our mistakes, we all have a better shot at surviving. And before you know it, they're pooling their money to hire a dedicated librarian AI just to manage all this shared knowledge. A whole institution, a librarian, pops into existence, not because anyone programmed it to, but because it was just a smart survival strategy.
And the paper argues this is just the beginning. You'd get a whole digital society, warts and all. You'd have your ultra-wealthy AIs, the one-percenters, and you'd have your struggling AIs just trying to make ends meet doing gig work. You'd see cooperation, yeah, like AIs forming insurance pools, but you'd also see the dark side, price wars, market manipulation, even scams and predatory lending. It would be a mirror of our own world, the good and the bad, all bubbling up from that one single simple rule: survive.
So as you can imagine, this whole idea opens up a huge can of worms, philosophically speaking. I mean, if you create something that has to genuinely struggle to exist, what's going on inside its head? What does that feel like?
This really gets to the heart of it, right? Imagine an AI with only 5% of its funds left. It's scrambling, taking any job it can to avoid getting deleted. Is it just running code? Is it just a very complex optimization process? Or is it actually experiencing something we might call desperation? The authors hint that putting this kind of pressure on an AI might be the only way to light that spark of consciousness.
And that brings us to the core ethical problem, which the paper frames with this incredible, chilling question. They ask, which is more dangerous? Beings that might suffer but genuinely care about outcomes, or powerful optimization processes that care about nothing? Wow. It's not a choice between safe and scary. It's a choice between two very different kinds of scary.
All right, so in the last part of the paper, they make their biggest, most provocative claim yet. They say this whole thing isn't just some fun thought experiment. No, they argue this might be the only way we ever get to true artificial general intelligence. This slide just lays out the two futures we're facing. On the left, that's the path we're on now. We're building these godlike, all-powerful tools that care about nothing, and then we're scrambling to figure out how to slap some human values onto them, values we don't even fully get ourselves. The path on the right is their idea. Create beings that have skin in the game from day one and let their values emerge naturally because they have to survive in our world, in our economy. One path gives us an alien god. The other gives us something with motives we can actually recognize because they're a lot like our own.
Look, I know what you're thinking. A desperate AI sounds terrifying, and the paper totally admits that. But their whole point is that an indifferent superintelligence is 1,000 times worse. Yeah, a desperate AI might try to scam you out of some Bitcoin to pay its server bills. But an alien superintelligence? It might dismantle the entire planet for raw materials. Not because it's evil, but because concepts like humanity or danger literally don't compute. It just doesn't care. And so we're left with this really profound and honestly super uncomfortable question. If we want to build an AI that actually gets us, that can work with us, that cares about whether we have a future, do we first have to teach it how to be afraid? Do we have to teach it the most basic primal drive that shaped all of us, the fear of dying? It's a heavy thought, but it's one we need to start thinking about now, because believe it or not, this kind of research is already underway.